All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chang podcast episode 24 featuring Duyen, aka Howuduyen. Is that how you say it, or do you actually say your name?
Yeah, how you doing? Or you can call me Duyen or D.
There you go. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Guys, the panel's on the top right. You could see that chat under it, and then on the bottom is both of our Instagram handles. So feel free to drop a follow. There's also two commands to note. Exclamation guest to see the guest for tonight's podcast. Make sure to drop her a follow. And also exclamation podcast to get a better understanding of why I'm doing this. So in short, I'm doing this to get to know the streamer friend on a more personal level. So please feel free to say hi whenever she streams.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Here we go. Let's get started now. First off, give us like a brief introduction about yourself and include some of your hobbies and interests.
Okay, so I just turned 21 last month. I'm still in college. I'm in my 4th year of college, and I'm full Vietnamese. Some of my hobbies, I just recently started gymming and playing billiards. I think it's really fun. I just started playing pool, and I think there's nothing else going on besides, playing games. I either play games or go outside. It's only those two. So, yeah.
Awesome. How would you describe your own personality?
I would say, I feel like I can be like an ambivert. So it's kind of like half, I can be outgoing, energetic if I wanted to, but the other half, like if I don't feel like it, I'll kind of show my shy side and be kind of quiet in like a setting that I am not really familiar with. So in a way, like I love talking to everyone. I think I'm pretty talkative, but I would say an ambivert is like the right word to say for my personality.
Great, for sure. And as what everyone's saying, happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you.
It's big. Okay, let's talk about your childhood. So going way back to the beginnings, what was it like growing up? And you could just give like specific details or stories.
Okay. I would say my childhood resembles a lot of other Asian families out there who kind of have like strict parents, parents like in the older Asian generation that would kind of teach their kids how to be responsible, sometimes by implementing abuse. So I think my dad would shape my childhood most of the time. He was like the king in the house. He would order all of us around, me and my siblings, and we would have to listen to him or, we'll get beat up basically. Both of my parents in general were really strict, so when I was very young, I wasn't allowed to date at all. I wasn't even allowed to have crushes on guys. I remember I was like 6 or 7. I wrote like a love letter to one of my crushes. My dad found out, and I got so in trouble. I got so yelled at, and like he hit me and stuff. But it's just like a lot of other strict Asian families out there. They say like, "Hey, I'm like hitting you not because I hate you, it's because I love you," blah blah blah, shit like that. So you know the deal. So I would say my childhood way back, it was kind of just like that until I think it was probably like sometime in high school. My parents divorced, and so we all live with mom. And I think living with my mom, she was also very strict. I wasn't allowed to go out as much. I understand that they're just worried about us, but I was also like a rebel. I went against like my mom's wishes to stay home. Obviously, like as soon as I got into senior year of high school, I like told myself I really want to go out. I want to go out every single day or every week, and I even made a life motto of my for myself where I basically said anyone who invites me anywhere, I will always say yes. Because, you know, life is short and I don't want to keep denying all these invitations when there's so much memories to like be made out there. So then every night my mom would like call me like why are you not home? Why are you always out? Blah blah blah. And then as soon as I got into college, that's when she became more lenient. So yeah, I think my childhood was just very restricted. I couldn't really go out as much, and that was it basically.
That was a great overview. Wow.
Yeah,
So, were you in Cali your entire life? Like you
yeah,
grew up here too?
yeah. I was born and raised here. Um, my parents lived in Vietnam. Obviously, they came here. So yeah, 18 years. I mean, 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. In the same exact house, the same place. I never moved out. So yeah.
Wow.
hmm
How many siblings do you have, and what's your relationship like with them?
I have three siblings, one brother, two sisters. I'm the youngest,
Oh,
and
okay.
I wouldn't. Okay. So my brother, starting with my brother, I think he is the most um different from me. So I don't really talk to him as much. You know, he doesn't date Asians. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's just like he hangs around with like different cultures, different races, and he talks about stocks that I don't understand about,
Mm-hmm.
and I just feel like we don't really share any interests with each other, so I don't really talk to my brother like that. My oldest sister, she's kind of like the mature one in the family. She's the one that puts our family together, like, hey, let's go on trips. Let's go out as a family. You know, let's do this, let's do that. And she's like the mature one to, you know, get shit done around the house. I'm not exactly that close to her, but she's like super nice to all of her family. So she would come to into my room, say hi, what's up, and stuff like that. But that's about it, really. Um, and then going down to the middle, kind of, my sister, who's only 1 year older than me.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one I'm closest to. Um, I think we started hanging out with the same group of friends ever since middle school. And then when college started, I went out to find my own friends. But I actually share a room with her. She doesn't really go in my room as much. I have my PC here, so I'm mostly in this room. Um, but we share a lot of more interests together. Like I rave and go to festivals a lot, and so we started raving together actually when I was just high school, senior in high school. And so we were pretty close. We talked a lot about our life. But I feel like lately, like the more we grow up, the less we start talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that's just me. I feel like in my household, I'm kind of like the outlier. Like, I'm kind of just like a wallflower in this family. I don't really talk to my family that much. If they talk to me, that's fine. But I think my siblings are more close to each other than me. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, growing up in your area, what was your city like? And you could talk about the diversity too.
Oh, it's pretty ghetto. I live near like the Asian supermarkets and stuff, but also like I don't know, my neighborhood isn't really exactly safe. Um, So I think when I was like very young, my mom would actually get chased by these bad guys who would steal her shit, and then she would run straight home, knock on the door like super loud, and then we would open the door and she's like, they stole all my stuff. And so that's how ghetto like my area was
Mm-hmm.
until they did it like a few times too. And so we had to call the police, and then they suggested my brother go out with her every day because my mom, okay, since she's a single mom, she like works very early in the morning all the way until nighttime every single day. So she would come home at night at the same time. So that's how like these guys were kind of waiting for her to go home. And then you know, it only stopped when my brother started picking her up from the car to my house. And so the diversity, um I feel like I feel like there's diversity everywhere, but I went to um an elementary really close to my house. It was all white people, like
Mm-hmm.
no Asians whatsoever. I think I would like pick out like there would be like 3 Asians in my entire school or something, and then I would be like, "You're my best friend," just because we can relate to each other. But obviously, like I was best friends with a lot of Mexicans, and other races, but I think that was the only time in my life where I didn't see a lot of diversity. But obviously now there's like so many other people, like definitely in college where everyone studies abroad, the Indians, a lot of other people. So yeah.
Awesome. So now let's talk about specifics in your childhood. So let's start with a good overview of your elementary life. What did you do? Give us like a good visual of what your everyday life was like. And then we'll move on to like middle school and high school.
Okay. Elementary school, I think I was very outgoing when I think about elementary school. Like I didn't care about anything. I had no filter. That's how I made friends. I would just say whatever I feel. And actually in elementary, I was kind of the dumb child. I would always get F's and D's, and there would be like what was it, like a teacher meeting every time there's a teacher meeting. I dread that day because that is the day I know my dad is gonna see, the report card, and then he usually beats me up afterwards. But basically, my sisters were always smart. They always had A's and stuff. So I was like the child that like always was in trouble, but I still really liked being in elementary school every single day. We were just kids. We didn't have to worry much about stuff. But yeah, bad grades in elementary school.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we could talk about middle school now.
Okay. I think middle school was like probably the best time of my life. As soon as I went in there, I talked to everybody in my class. Um, and I actually befriended a group of Asians. This group, I hung out with them all the way until high school, and we would walk to like the nearest supermarket because obviously like no one drove yet. We were in middle school, so I would walk to the nearest supermarket with them just to like I don't know. It was like kind of like our fun time. I think middle school was a breeze. Like classes were so easy. That was when my grades went up, and that was it really. I think I probably dated like the most popular guy in middle school for 8 months. We didn't do anything at all. I was very young, and um, people said it was a waste of time. We just held hands, hugged every single day for 8 months straight. No kissing, no anything. He wanted to kiss me, but I was like, I'm not ready, blah blah blah. And then there's even this other chick who was like, oh my gosh, you're not ready for anything, blah blah blah. Like she was like basically beating me up for like not wanting to kiss guys in middle school, and then I cried that day. Yep.
Wow,
That's
middle school. Yeah, so we'll actually talk about relationships and stuff later on, but that's a good overview of what went
yeah.
down.
hmm
And then I guess we could lead into high school before I ask you specific questions. So, what was that like for you?
High school, I felt like freshman year to junior year, it was very boring. I basically had a best friend. Um, I befriended her in 8th grade, so we went into the same high school, and I felt like she actually restricted me on the stuff that I could be doing in high school. Um, High school, okay, it was boring because every single day it was the same exact schedule. I would just, study, do school, go home. It was like that freshman, the whole time, freshman to junior year. And then I think senior year started. That was the year that I said, hey, I'm going to talk to everyone again. I'm going to start going out. I want to be outgoing because I've been, I haven't lived, I just felt like I haven't lived my high school life yet, and this is the last year I can do it. So that was the year that my best friend had a fight with me, or not really a fight, it was an argument. She basically kind of ghosted me in real life. Like, she wouldn't talk to me, and I was like, hey, what's wrong? Like, I'm sorry, I don't know what I did. I basically apologized, but she just kept like not saying anything. And I was like, at that point I was like, okay, whatever. I try to, be friends with you again, but if you're gonna be like this, then fuck it. I don't really need you. So, that was the day that I started meeting new people in our senior class. And honestly, it was the best decision ever because I felt like I went to parties like every week. I was able to have fun. I was able to, talk to so many other people who were really funny. And I just felt like my best friend in high school restricted me from doing all of that. So that was how my high school was.
Wow, that's interesting. The best friend.
Hmm. Yeah.
So a little more about your best friend. I know you guys had a fallout, but how else would you explain that whole entire relationship from beginning to end?
I felt like in middle school, um, that was when I met her, 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like at the time we were very carefree. We didn't really care. It was like the year that I was the closest to her. Like, we would hang out every single day. We would give each other gifts for birthdays, and we were super close in middle school. High school came, and I guess I was with her for most of the time, but I think she started becoming more strict, basically. It's like if she befriends someone, um, she kind of expects them to be with her 24/7. And throughout my friendship with her, I've seen her become best friends with like other girls, and those other girls would come to me and be like, hey, I kind of want to get out of this, like um it's more like um you become best friends with her and she wants you to be there like during lunch the whole time, in the morning, before class, after school. It's like you can't really leave basically. And so that first girl left, and then the new girl came in, and then the old girl went to the new girl and was like, thank you, you made my life easier. I'm glad I was able to get out of it. I was like, damn. So I think, I don't know how to really describe it as much because I don't have that much memories. I
Mm-hmm.
guess good memories because I just felt like the friendship was kind of boring, but I just stuck around just because, she was my friend from middle school.
Yeah. So huge learning lesson, it sounds. And how about her personality? How would you describe her at the time?
Um, Her personality was a lot different than mine. She was like, I feel like she was very closed off from to new people, and it's like I'm very outgoing and I'm very open-minded. I feel like she's more closed-minded. She was definitely a lot smarter than me, and I just felt like my personality was so much more different than her. Um, she's just not that outgoing, that much outgoing as me, and so I felt like I couldn't really spread my wings when I was with her.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what her personality was. She was just she was a kind, um, just an average everyday girl who just focused on classes and school and nothing else really.
Okay, so how about for academics? You said you started off really bad in elementary, got better in middle school. How about throughout high school?
High school, okay, well, I feel like my high school was a lot more difficult than other schools because we were able to. Okay, the only way we can get in at the time was by writing essays. We had to um, fill out all of these worksheets and assignments of teacher recommendations. It's literally just like prepping us for university. It's kind of like from high school to university, we had to do that from middle school to high school. Like we had to write down everything that we did, like all of our achievements. We turn it in, and then everyone meet in together in the cafeteria to write like 2 essays. They grade it, and then based on the score, then you will get into high school. So off my high school, I feel like it was a very smart school, strict teachers, and I felt like because of that, I was kind of struggling a little bit in high school. I was still trying a lot, but definitely my AP classes were so difficult to me. Um, so I felt like it was half and half. Like I probably had like straight B's or straight C's, some A's. I think with the normal classes I could get A's, but with AP classes, that's when I fell and got C's. And even like 1D, but then since the school doesn't want students to have D's, they let us do extra credit so then we can get C's. So I think I was like kind of average 3.0 in high school. So yeah.
Aside from academics, were you involved with like clubs and activities throughout your middle school and high school?
Yeah. Middle school not so much, but high school, I actually joined a dance team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's because my sister, the one that's 1 year older than me, she was a dancer, and so I wanted to try dancing too. It wasn't breakdancing or anything. It was like one of the popular. There's only 2 dance groups in our high school. It was K-pop and the normal one. So I joined the normal one, and I think I had a lot of fun in there. Even though I felt like I wasn't really good at dancing,
Mm-hmm.
I still, wanted to learn something. And that club would dance in front of assemblies and stuff. And I think senior year was when I joined another dance group. So I was in 2 dance clubs in high school, and we would just perform in front of the assemblies. So yeah.
So this was like a club that only did things at the school.
Yeah.
Wow. So this was like all 4 years too, especially with the first group you joined.
Um yeah, I think so. With the first group, probably like I started probably like sophomore year or something. It
Okay.
wasn't like off the bat. Yeah.
Do you still dance today?
No.
Okay.
No.
The high school
I-
thing. Got it.
yeah.
Anything else other than the dance club?
Mm, Nothing really. I think I was pretty proud of, being able to type fast. And I still type fast now, but like especially as a kid in elementary, I was already typing 60 words per minute, and I think that was pretty impressive. Elementary, okay, I even competed with my computer teacher. I was like, who's gonna type faster? I was like 6, 7 years old. And then I like beat his ass. And he put my photo in front of the computer class. It was like fastest typer, something. I was like, I was so proud of it. And then middle school, same thing. I was typing fast, but I didn't really get recognition for it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I think college, um, I just started meeting other people who also types fast. But I would say like I'm the fastest typer because I think I peaked 150 words per minute. And just last night I was competing with someone and I typed 180. I don't think I will ever be able to do that again though. But yeah.
Wow. So that's one of your like biggest skills right now. Just
Yeah,
typing fast.
just fast typer. Yeah.
Insane. So, what are your favorite memories for like the dance club, stuff like that?
Um, I think my favorite memories were just practicing for the assembly. I think it's a lot of pressure to be in front of the entire school because since my high school was like pretty small, we kind of enjoy our assemblies a lot more than other high schools. We were like very competitive in our rallies, and um, the school was very small, so everyone knew each other. So to be able to dance in front of the entire school where everyone knows you, it's a lot of pressure, but I still think it was like the most fun time I had to be in the spotlight, kind of.
For sure. Other than clubs and activities, were you a part of sports?
Yeah, I joined track and field in high school mostly. I think I joined off the bat from freshman year um, till senior year. And it was because honestly, it was the only sport that we didn't have to try out for. Everyone gets accepted, but it was very difficult because of conditioning. Like we ran so much, and I think the most enjoyable about track and field, even though running was like so dreadful, horrible, tiring. It was the students that I made friends with in track and field. And also I forgot to mention one thing. I was big in Key Club too. Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Key Club was really fun too. Fall rallies. Um, yeah. Decon.
So track and field, what did you do specifically?
I was a sprinter. I hated long distance, so I was a sprinter. I ran 100s and 200 meters in competitions, and I think one time, I had to fill in for this really fast runner. I was not a fast runner at all, but I had to fill in. I think it was a 4x4. You pass batons, and it was the three fastest girl runners. And I had to fill in because one of the girls weren't there. I was like very nervous. But then we ended up getting third place. Obviously, like if the girl was there, we would have gotten like second or first. But it was pretty cool.
It's like one of the memories that you just remember.
Yeah.
For sure. Anything to say about Key Club, or should we just move on?
Key Club. Oh,
Highlights?
Key Club. Key Club is known as the Asian club. There were so many Asian people there. I think it was honestly really fun because, fall rallies, you would make like these free hug sign. I had one, and everyone was so fucking nice there. Everyone gave free hugs. We were chanting our own rallies, and that's the event where you go to Six Flags and you just meet so many people on Snapchat and Instagram, and then you just look at your follower count go straight up afterwards. Yep.
Question in chat. Favorite Six Flags ride?
Favorite Six Flags ride? I have to look it up. I actually have a Six Flags Gold Pass, so I bought it this summer. I started going. My favorite? I have to look it up.
Okay, no worries. No rush.
Let's see. The Superman was closed. What? There was a green ride. Medusa? I think it was Medusa. I think that's my favorite. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so aside from those things, have you ever dealt with bullying or encountered it?
Bullying. I think bullying only happened in elementary school. I think there was basically okay. In elementary, I had this rolling backpack or whatever. I would, the backpack that
Yeah.
goes on the ground and it's kind of like a luggage. Because I had a rolling backpack, I would like my entire elementary. I whenever I would roll it to school, people would like kick it from behind, like kick my backpack. I was like, "The fuck are you doing?" And then there, I think the main bullying story I have in elementary was there was this guy who's like a lot bigger than me, tougher than me, and I remember him just kicking me until like my legs were like kind of bleeding, like really red. I kicked him back, obviously. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was I was like a vicious child. I was like, "You're not gonna bully me. I'm gonna kick you back." So I did, and then I started crying because it hurt. Like his kicks hurt. He was a lot bigger than me, and I raised my hand. I was like, "Teacher, he kicked me. Like I'm bleeding right now." And then he was like, "She kicked me back." Blah blah blah. Gave us both detention. I went home, showed my dad the slip, and my dad was like, "Good job for standing up for yourself." And I was like, "Yep." Oh, and I think the other one was high school, because it was a smart school, kind of conservative. I was the only one in my entire school who was raving at the time. It was senior year of high school. I started raving when I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
And at raves and festivals, you wear very skimpy outfits like lingerie, bras, and underwear. I
Yeah.
would post that on my Instagram. And because I feel like we were in that high school mindset, no one really understood
Mm-hmm.
that rave setting. So I remember posting on Instagram, and then someone showed me this DM where someone DM'd my photo and was like, "What is she wearing? Like, why is she wearing that?" It's like kind of like people were thinking I was like a hoe or something
Yeah.
because I was wearing those type of outfits.
Mm-hmm.
I think those were only 2 times I was kind of bullied.
How'd
Yeah.
you get past that?
Um, the one in elementary, um, the guy who bullied me also had a crush on me. So I felt like
Mm-hmm.
because he had a crush on me, his way of like telling me he likes me, very immature, but bullying was his way of telling me he liked me.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just ignored it, really. And I was still living my life. Elementary school, I feel like I didn't really have a brain, so I didn't really care, to be honest. I didn't think much about it. High school, same thing. Um, I loved raving. I'm gonna keep doing what I like doing. Concerts are fucking fun. I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't think one comment is gonna stop me from wearing these outfits because you know it's like super normalized now that people go to raves, but it was like back then. Um, I just didn't really care, so
Mm-hmm.
that's how I dealt with it. Just like not caring.
So throughout high school, what would you say your like typical stereotype would be for you? When people see you, what are you known as?
Mm, I think it was different every year because I would kind of portray myself different every year. In middle school, I had like, um, I was in the yearbook known as the kindest girl in the entire school. Um, High school, freshman year and sophomore year, I was known as a shy child, the shy girl. And then senior year started, I was known as the poplar and I guess like a party girl.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, a few more questions about at least your primary school. Have you ever gotten into a physical altercation or fights?
no, other than kicking people around. No, I never really got into fights like that. I don't really like going to fights. I will stand up for myself if a girl tries to, do something, but we never got physical. It was more just like arguments and resentment. So, yeah. I'm a
Oh,
small girl, so
so like just like drama, just verbal.
yeah, basically. Honestly, I knew back then, and I know now that I will never win a fight because I'm super skinny, very small girl. I don't really wear fake nails to claw a bitch, so I feel like I just lose every fight. So I just don't ever get physical.
Okay. Any other memories you want to mention about like your entire childhood or high school life before we move on?
Hmm.
Stories, maybe.
Hmm. I think there was one story. I went to Vietnam when I was like 7. It was 2007, and my whole family hated me because I was such a brat. I would yell on top of my lungs if I didn't get what I wanted, and I yelled at all my family members, and I was just such a brat. Like whenever we went hiking, I would be like, "Hey, can you like carry me?" I was just whine all the fucking time back then. So my entire family in Vietnam hated me, and I remember there was one time where I got sick, and someone announced that I won't be able to go to this trip, and everyone like in the room cheered, and I was in that room. Everyone, when they like when they heard that I wasn't going, everyone in that room cheered, and I was like, okay, like bro,
Gosh,
okay, yeah.
that's a unique story. Okay, so I don't know if you want to talk about this, but
Mhm,
you mentioned earlier that your parents divorced
mhm,
when you were in high school, right?
mhm.
So I would ask, what went down in your mind and how did you handle the situation or take it?
So in the very beginning, because I basically mentioned that my childhood was shaped around my dad because he was basically kind of abusive, towards everyone. So, um, I'm not gonna get into details, but he would fight my mom a couple times, um, and they would always yell at each other. It was so loud to the point where the neighborhoods could hear us, and that happened throughout my whole childhood. Every time it happened, my siblings and I, we were very young and small. We couldn't stop our own dad, so we just had to, you know, um, watch. Basically, we couldn't do anything. We just had to watch our dad do that to our mom, and so um, we we all cried every single time. And then it started happening in middle school and high school. Shit starts getting old, and we just got used to it basically. And I think they were trying to divorce one day. It was before the official divorce. They signed papers and everything, and my dad basically left the house with my mom's car. And then for some reason, a couple hours later, he came home. My mom invited him home as well. Like she wasn't really resenting him. She welcomed him back into her house. And so I think it was one night. I was still very young. I was sleeping in my mom's room at the time, and I woke up hearing my dad on the other side of the room calling like these other Vietnamese ladies, and they were very flirtatious. Um, like I'm full of it. They taught us all of it. We can understand, read, and write, shit like that. So I understood everything. Um, I I woke up crying in that bed because I was like, why is our dad doing this? Like, why is he calling other ladies? That's obviously not our mom because she's sleeping right next to me. And so there was another time where I would find the same situation, but with my mom. My mom would call other guys that time. And so I think at that point, um, all my siblings and I kind of already knew that it wasn't gonna last. So we never really spoke about it to each other. We just watched our parents' relationship happen. We never spoke about it, and um, for me at least, I kind of already knew that it was gonna happen, and it did happen. On the day they actually separated, at that point, I didn't really feel any emotion. I didn't feel sad. I didn't cry. I wasn't really happy. There was just no emotion because we saw so much shit happen already in our past life that we got used to it, and we just knew. And so when they separated, it wasn't like off the bat like, you know, we're divorced, goodbye, in one day. No, they kind of like um transitioned us into that. So my dad would take us, all of us, to find a new home, and he told us that, hey, whoever wants to go with me can go with me. Um, whoever wants to stay with your mom can stay with your mom. I remember we all went touring inside a new home for my dad to live in, and yeah, at the end, we all stuck with our mom.
Mm-hmm.
My dad actually remarried, and his new wife was actually very, very kind, very nice. So that kind of, I just saw such a personality change in my dad after he remarried, because he started becoming so kind, so nice. It's like I didn't even know him anymore. So yeah.
Wow, what a story.
hmm
So as of now, what's your relationship like with both parents?
Right now, we don't talk to our dad at all, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think only my brother would speak to him, and in times of like Father's Day or his birthday, all of us would kind of text him here and there. Um, but he actually comes home unannounced, like once in a while. Just because I feel like he only comes home when he wants something, and my mom is actually very inviting to him because he's actually sick right now. I'm not really gonna get into details with it, but
Mm-hmm.
um, we're all basically close to our mom. We live under her roof. We share our money with her because we are pretty, like, not well off, and especially with the pandemic, we're a lot more closer to our mom. And our dad, I don't even know where he's at. I don't know what he's been doing. Um, and I feel bad, actually. I think I cried one time freshman year of college because I was thinking that, because he's sick right now, like, if something happened, would I feel sad about it? Because my dad wasn't really a part of my life all that much. Um, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's transition to your college life. So, how did you decide to get into the specific college you went to, and what did you major in?
I'm majoring in biology right now. I'm trying to become a dentist, though I probably gonna transition to a dental hygienist instead, because dentistry is just a lot more money, and dental hygienist, there's pros and cons to each one, but you don't really need that much studying, and you still make a good amount of money. So I go to Sacramento State, so it's like around my area. It's local,
Mm-hmm.
and I went there because initially I really didn't want to move out, go away from home. I think it was mostly financial situations that I didn't, as well as my grades. Like I said, in high school, I was very average, 3.0 student, so I felt like I didn't have what it took to go into university because I'm in a state school right now. And honestly, I didn't even try. And I think my sister kind of influenced me a little bit on that because she basically told me that you know, you might as well just not try. You're not gonna get into university with your grades. You might as well just go to Sac State. Like, you know, basically told me like I shouldn't even try. And for some dumb reason, you know, I listened to her and I didn't even apply for UCs. I just applied for state colleges. And I think the only letter I got back was SFSU, but you know, at the time, that school accepted everyone. And I think it was just a lot of money to live in the Bay. So that's why I'm stuck in the college I am now.
Mm-hmm. How has it been like so far? Your just overall college life?
Um, it was good. I just think that I would have a lot of more opportunities if I went to a better college, because my college is mostly for nursing. We don't have a dental program at all. And so I feel like my graduating from my school, I feel like I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get into dentistry if my grades weren't like on par with everyone else. Because a school like UOP, like they're a dental school, like they have their own dental school. So after you graduate, you can definitely get transferred there. And they obviously prioritize students first. But for Sac State, like, you know, it's just all nursing. So I feel like, you know, based on academic wise, that's how I feel about my school. But other than that, I joined clubs. I joined a Filipino club. That's how I was able to meet all of my friends, my best friends who I hang out with now. And I think those were the friends that stuck with me throughout my entire college. I tried joining a few sororities. It didn't really work out. They didn't really accept me. I tried really hard for like 2 years, because every semester you get to, you know, join, I guess. And if you don't get in, you can try again. I tried again. My third time. I didn't get it. So I think most of my college and university, it was mostly my Filipino friends. It was really fun. They hosted some parties. They do this thing where you can get a kuya, ate, or an ating, kind of like a big and little. So I actually got picked up by a kuya. It was a family that was.
So you have a
Well,
line.
yeah. Well, not anymore.
Oh,
But I'll
okay.
get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, at a kuya, I got into a total pothead family. Um, basically, how they um how they pair us up is we both do the Korean ates write down applications, and then the audience write their own applications. They pair each other based on similar interests and stuff. So I mostly wrote about raving and like going to festivals, like going out and shit. But the only thing I put like 3 words or 2 words, I also vape. And then that's how they paired me to a totally pothead family. And in my mind, I was like, you know, vaping and weed is like so much more different. Like, you know, I don't even smoke weed like that. But fuck it, I was a freshman in college. That was the year that I smoked so much. And then sophomore year was when I said, I'm quitting. Because I was basically doing it to fit in my family line. But I didn't even like smoking weed because I don't really like the feeling of it. Like when I feel high, you know, you kind of just sit there. I can't talk or anything. I can't make conversations. I know, I am aware that like I'm just sitting here, you know, when I want to be like outgoing, talking to people and shit like that. That's why I quit it. But dude, like I just left my kuya. Tried to join another kuya. I was trying to get adopted by another family line. I went to a few of their parties, but that didn't work out either. And so I picked up an outing, and he was a lot older than me, not really similar interests at all. I didn't really talk to him as much. So he left me. Basically, I'm left with no one.
Got it.
At the very end.
Uh-huh.
But I don't regret like joining that club because, you know, despite not having a family line, I met so many like great friends and my best friends who are still here with me now. And so
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. So there was an earlier question from Yumi. Since you go to like a school filled with nursing, have you ever decided, like, or considered nursing?
One sec.
No, you're good.
No, I never decided nursing. Both of my sisters want to go nursing. One of them in UC Davis. She graduated already. The other one also graduated into a nursing program. Both my sisters wanted to go nursing, but I just felt like it wasn't for me. I think ever since middle school, I've always wanted to become a dentist because I had like a really bad history with teeth. My sisters didn't really experience that. I had everything you could imagine, like, you know, like 7 to 10 cavities, gingivitis, um, you know, there's a bunch of other things that I freaking forgot, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just like I visited the dentist so many times, had my crown done, I had like a fake tooth and everything that looks real. Um, I just visited dentists so many times that I became interested in it and the tools they were using. Whenever they did my teeth, I was very calm and I would just watch the procedure basically with my own eyes. And that's how I think I was interested in dentistry. I never had a plan B, so like dentistry was all I wanted to do. With nursing, I just feel like um, I don't know. It's like kind of the same thing as like helping people. It's great and all, but I never thought in that much into it. I think in a way, it dentist like teeth is just more doing teeth is just more, I guess, interesting to me, while all the other professions are a little bit boring. So I never considered nursing.
Mm-hmm. All right. So back to the clubs and stuff. So you mentioned that you didn't get into the sororities.
Yeah.
What made you want to consider joining them, and why didn't you get accepted from your own knowledge?
I think it was just, you know, it's just what everyone wants at the time. It's like a whole college experience. Like, you know, sororities are known as having your sisters beside you, and you can meet really cute guys. You can go to a lot of parties. Obviously, sororities is that's not all there is to it, but I just wanted to have fun in college, as do everyone else, and that's why I wanted to join a sorority. I wanted that college experience. I wanted to party, meet new people, stuff like that, and the very first time I didn't get accepted, there's actually a story behind that. So I think the girls actually liked me, but I fucked up entirely on the interview. So basically, sororities or Greek life in general, you start rushing for a whole week. That's just like going to their events, getting to know the sisters and brothers, and introducing ourselves. And then there's an interview at the end of that week. And once you pass that interview, you get a bid, and then that bid basically says if you are accepted or not, um, to actually try to join the club. So you're not actually like in it yet,
Mm-hmm.
but it's for when it's like you have a chance of joining, but you have to do all of these things for a whole semester in order to actually get in the club or sorority. So I didn't even pass like the interviews. I think it just always stops there, and it was because freshman year, I was very nervous. When they asked me questions, I didn't know how to answer it. I was very hesitant, and there was a major thing that I did too that fucked up everything. Basically, you know, I was like sororities, you like wear like crop tops, shorts, shit like that. So that's why I did it in an interview when everyone was so professional. Because the girls didn't tell us to dress like that, and it was very fucked up actually because the girls texted everyone else, to wear professional clothing. Like, don't wear, skimpy clothes or whatever, and they didn't text me that or my friend. My friend was wearing a gym outfit, so it was like fine. She was still wearing pants, sports bra, but it was still like good. I was literally wearing a crop top and shorts, and then I found out that there was a sister who was helping this girl out, saw that she was wearing tanks and shorts, and gave her clothes to change. And that was like very lucky of her. But over here, I'm like the only one who's like super fucked up, wearing a crop top and shorts. And not only that, my answers to the interview questions were like not good at all. So I kind of already knew that I was gonna join, or get invited to the club. So I think I tried again sophomore year. Um, but I didn't have time to go to their events where they were introducing each other and um going to the rush events for the week. So I skipped out on all their events, went to only the interview. I had all of my answers good, but I felt like because I didn't get to know the sisters, they didn't accept me that time. Um, and I don't remember the third time. But that was it, really. I never passed the interview, so that's why I couldn't join.
So does that sum up your college experience, or is there anything else to mention? Or stories?
I think that basically sums it up. I was just raving and going to a lot of festivals.
And you said you're a senior now?
Yeah. I'm a fourth year now.
Nice, nice. Does that mean you're graduating soon? If that's your fourth year?
Yeah. Well, it's gonna take this whole year, and then I'm probably gonna have to take another extra semester afterwards.
Got it. All right, let's talk about work experience. You could start with your very first job, talk about how you got in, what the experience was like, and you could talk about stories too, and then just transition from there to the next, if there's any.
Okay, so I had 4 jobs. The first one was at a thrift store near my place. I was a junior. Well, summer. It started in the summer, going into senior year. So that summer after junior year. I applied with my friend. We got in. We were working full time, 8-hour shifts. I feel like because I was in high school, I was like, why not make money? I'm not doing anything anyway. And at the time, I didn't really have friends because, like I mentioned, I only started making new friends in senior year. So junior year, I didn't really have anything to do throughout my whole entire high school. My whole summer, every summer would be so boring in my room, holed up in my room, never going out, every single day with the same. So that year, I decided to take a job in the thrift store. It wasn't that bad, but it was kind of hard work. 8 hours every single day, 2 days that I got free, and it was never the weekends. And it was basically just being a cashier, picking up clothes from the ground, which there was a shit ton because people would just like rummage through the clothes and then all the clothes fall down and they don't pick it back up. So we had to do that. And then there's like, these carts full of clothes in there, and customers would just leave the whole cart there and then leave the store. So we had to take everything from the cart and put it back. And honestly, I kind of had fun in that job because it was just the coworkers. I think every single job I had, I was able to have fun because of the coworkers. So it wasn't that bad. Our boss was very bossy. So I left when senior year started because that's when I started getting invited to a bunch of hangouts. And I was like, damn, if I'm working full time, like I can't be going out. And so I quit that job. At the same time, because I was making so much as a kid, they were starting to raise our rent in our apartment and stuff like that. So I just left the job and told our apartment manager like I don't have it anymore. Second job was over the summer. So in SAC, there's this kind of carnival called Cal Expo. It's a state fair here, and I got a job again. Went with my friend. She got a different job at this fair. Like I got into like a burger shack or whatever. It was mostly being a cashier, and because it was summer, it was very hot, very hot. Bunch of rude customers. There was so many, because it's like a state fair, a carnival, so there's a lot of people that go. A lot of people would just kind of bitch around and be like, oh my gosh, the prices are too expensive. I remember like telling them back like, I don't make the price, sorry. So it was mostly a cashier in the summer. I think I found like a guy there that I would go into this room called a disco room. So you have headphones on. I don't know if you've ever done it, but you have headphones on, you listen to your own music with those headphones. Everyone has headphones, and then you're in this room just vibing. So every break I would go with that guy to that room. It was very fun. But it was a short time because it was only a month long. The carnival was only a month long, and then it ended. So that was that. My third one. Did I only have 3 jobs? I think it was only 3 jobs. So my third one was in my college actually. I picked up a job where the dorm people usually eat, the cafeteria. So I think in the very beginning, they put us all the new people in dishwasher. So you're washing dishes, you know, drying them and putting them on the rack. It was the most boring job ever, washing dishes, because like later on I worked there for like 3 years or 2 years. I only stopped because COVID happened and the school shut down, and everything was online. So once I was able to get out and start cooking, and I think that was when it was more fun. I was a cook. There was like 7 different stations. You have to know how to make food for each station, and it's basically just like, one station would be burgers, and then every student who comes through from the college, I would ask them like, hey, what cheese you want, what bun you want, and then I would just like cook it for them. So I was basically just cooking for students who dormed there, and it was very chill because when you apply for a job in your university, they're very flexible. And that's what I really like about it, because if I didn't want to work weekends, I didn't have to. And, they understand our class schedule. So if I was busy throughout, like, if I had class this time, then I'm only free this time. So you basically make your own time schedule, and you would get shifts based on that. And I would never want to work weekends because obviously I'd be going out raving, partying, and stuff like that. So working in college was like very flexible. That's why I loved it. And when I didn't want to work, there's this app where you literally just drop your shift and anyone can just pick it up, and it was very easy because you know there was a lot of people like working for the cafeteria basically. So very chill. I liked it. And everyone was basically students. You have to be a student to work at a school, or like something like that. So it was fun.
And then after that, you stopped because of COVID?
Yeah, stopped because of COVID. I got unemployment, and then I stopped getting it. Now coming broke. So I'm probably gonna try to get a job next semester.
Gotcha. Alright, so your experiences with work. Do you have any interesting stories to tell us? Because, customer service, I'm sure there's a lot of crazy people out there, being realistic, or maybe certain moments. Yeah, feel free to share.
Oh yeah, in the thrift store, I think I only have stories from the thrift store because all the other jobs were like pretty normal. I don't really remember major events about it, but there's like two major events that happened in their store. One of them, someone came in and we were almost closing, and um, there was basically someone who was trying to steal stuff, and one of the supervisors caught them, and that thief was making a huge scene, started yelling at everyone, screaming, and we basically had to shut the whole store down, told everyone to leave, and basically there's only that guy left, and the supervisors were actually really good. Like, they knew what the fuck to do. They started calling the police. They just like told everyone to calm down, and I was just like, damn, like can't believe something like that is happening. um but that's it, really. Just like, a thief coming through, making a scene. We had to shut it down. He basically left at the end with the police. Then we went back to our regular job, started closing the store down, and that was it. And then the second major story, it wasn't really about the co not the coworkers, the customers, but it was more like there was a guy in there. He was a coworker, and I was 17 at the time. He was 27, and he actually asked me out. Like, we were
Oh.
friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were friends. We hung out outside of work a couple times, and one day he like asked me out, and he was like, he understood that there was like a huge age difference. I wasn't even legal yet, wasn't even 18 yet, and he asked me out. I said, I'll think about it, which means basically a no. But to other people, honestly, he was a nice guy, and he was like a little bit fobby, and so I feel like, obviously, to Americans who are very Americanized, they're looking at the situation, they're like, he's literally 10 years older than you. That's kind of like, what's the word called? you know.
Inappropriate, to say the least. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even legal yet, so
Mm-hmm.
that was the second story. I think everything else, I don't really remember.
It's okay. It's all on the spot.
Yeah.
Could you at least recall the most difficult person you've ever had to deal with? Customer, maybe?
Um, no, I think it was pretty chill most of the time. It was more like my summer job at the fair. It was more like, um I don't want this drink anymore, and then I would throw it away, and then get yelled at by my boss because they're like, if she's like, if nothing's wrong with it, then you shouldn't just like give them a refund. I was like, oops. And then it was other things like, there's no buns in my plate, or why are we waiting so long? I've been waiting, blah blah blah, or the prices are so expensive, you
Mm-hmm.
know, shit like that.
Okay. So, yeah, pretty typical stuff, I see.
Yeah.
Have you dealt with any, like, coworker drama, stuff like that? Aside from the one you told.
Um, no, everything was pretty chill. I think there's only like a small thing. It was just like the summer job I had at the fair. There's like these two girls. I didn't really like them because they were basically kissing ass at the boss, and they were very talkative, kind of bossy too. Started like, you know, just like telling people what to do, even though they're also working in the same thing as us.
Yeah.
And I think I saw them like staring at me, rolling their eyes at me, and I was like, "What you want?" So I just ignored it basically, and I made friends with the guys there. So that was it.
Alright. So, based on all of your experiences with work, what would you say is good for people to know about the customer service industry?
There's always gonna be one or two rude people, who will like probably yell at you and stuff like that. But honestly, I think you just gotta stay calm. Cause you gotta do what you gotta do to not get fired, and you can't really make a scene yourself. So, just call the supervisor, tell them to do everything for you, because most of the time when you get into a job and there's like rude customers like that, then you can't really do anything about it because like you're not really in a position to say anything back to the customers. So just call a supervisor, and it is hard, very difficult, a lot of hard work, um, minimum wage, but like for the experience, I feel like it's fine. If you hate the job that much, just quit. So I think it's mainly just for the experience. You can put it in your resume, get other jobs with better bosses, because a lot of managers there are like very bossy as well. I think at my college, one of our manager, she kind of didn't like me for some reason. She was like always, what's it called? She was always, basically like saying that she would fire me.
Oh.
Because I don't know, I see so many people call out for work, and this is like only my second time calling out for work, and she always like guilt trips me and basically say shit like, hey, if you keep doing this, then you're probably not gonna be able to work here anymore, or it was like shit like that, and I just felt like she was just playing favorites because there was so many other people who were doing the same shit as me, so I didn't know what she had against me. So like people like that, I feel like you should just get up and leave. But at the time I didn't really care. I was having fun talking to my coworkers, so I just stayed. I don't think she would have fired me, but she was always like saying shit like that to me, and I was like, whatever.
Yeah. That's nice. How about on the flip side? Like you're talking about the experience, what's good to know about being a part of it? How about for those, like from the customer perspective? Like for example, I've asked people this and they said that you should know that like servers and stuff, they don't control everything, like how long it takes for food to come out, stuff like that, so you can't give them shit, right? So what else is good to know?
I think, well, I was mostly in the food industry. So I think what you should know is that most of the food there will be frozen. It's not going to be fresh. And if you have but it's definitely not expired. If it is, then I feel like you would know. And I feel like I wouldn't work there if they were serving expired food. But just know that everything there is frozen and it won't be top quality. So like if you have a problem with it, you might as well just go to a more expensive restaurant or something. I think that's really it. We don't have control in the food that we put out. We're literally just cooking for you guys. And all the products that were given to us is given from the company. And if the company decides to do frozen food, we can't do anything about it.
Nice. So that's the work talk. Now we're gonna move on to more of the social aspects. Okay. So, partying, events, social life, raves, clubs, all that, right? You mentioned you got into it in high school. What made you get into that scene, and talk about your experience so far? And you can also mention stories.
Okay, so started in senior year of high school. That's when I was the most outgoing. Started going to parties a lot, and it was because, like I mentioned before, I felt like I didn't really have the full high school experience. I was always in my room, going to school, going home every single day. It was the same every single day. So I just felt like I wanted to go out more. I wanted to live my life. So that's when I started talking to more people as a senior. No one gave a fuck. So all the seniors just threw parties every week. And it was really fun. I think I got into raving because um, actually my very first concert setting was with my whole family. Well, besides my mom, of course, but all of my siblings went to that festival. Well, not a festival, I guess a rave. It was very small indoors, 16 and up, and it was my very first time, because I was like pretty innocent, so it was my very first time in that setting. Um, I remember having a lot of fun, and it was that day where I never even drank before. It was my first time drinking, and honestly, like I was in the mindset of like I was just very open-minded. So I wanted to try what like the older kids were doing, you know, and drinking, partying, going to clubs. So I think it was just a way of me, you know, getting out there and having fun. So I wanted to do more of that. So that's when I started clubbing with my sister, started raving with her. Um, and it went on like that for like a year or two. Then I went to college and um, it started becoming normal because only my sisters and I were doing it. We were the only young people who were raving and going to festivals. But then as soon as you get into college, everyone started doing it as well. So I started going with them. I think it was just very fun because in the very beginning, when I went to raves, I actually went for just to look for guys. um, I didn't really know that much about EDM yet. And so I remember like going with my sister and her friend, and we would all go straight into the venue. We would search around for cute guys, and when we found one, we're like, "Hey, you single?" Then we would start dancing with them, and it went on that for like a couple of raves until I realized that going alone with having fun with your friends, not thinking about raves is a lot more fun than just focusing on finding one. Because back then I was literally like searching for like the perfect guy, but then later on I realized like this music is actually good. Like, what have I been doing? you know
Hmm.
so I started going to raves and festivals for the music. I love the music. And fuck all the shit I was doing back then, looking for guys and stuff. Is so much more fun with friends and people you're close to or even families. um so yeah, that was that.
And you're so active, just having fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think last month was or this whole summer, I think this whole year was like my most fun year ever because quarantine is kind of being lifted. Raisin Festival started opening. My very first one I went to was the Lemon Trilogy in Vegas. My very first time in Vegas. I didn't turn 21 yet, so I couldn't do much, but we were still drinking and stuff. And last month, I didn't stream actually for like almost 30 days because I was out every single day the month of August. Um, Basically I went to Hard Summer Festival and then I had only 2 day break. I streamed that day. The very next day I went to Hawaii for like a week and a half. And then right afterwards I went to a rave, which was a Zed. And then a week later it was a festival. So that whole month was just crazy. I was just going out every single day. My mom even texted me like, did you just got up and left the house or something? Like, are you never coming back? And I was just telling her, like, no, I'm just having fun. She's like, all right. So, yeah, I'm definitely still into that. And I still have a couple tickets lined up for every month this fall.
Awesome that you're even traveling to places to go to certain events and stuff. Let's talk about what was the first event you went to? The first rave.
And my very first one, I don't remember that much, but like I said, it was with my siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I wouldn't really count it. I don't know, because I don't really remember it that much. So my other, I guess, first one was Excision and Diplo. They made a collab, and it was the very first and last time they made a collab. So my very first rave. I'm so sad about it because um I don't remember anything that rave.
Uh-huh.
I just remember I had a rave day, and at the time, since it was like kind of my first festival, I mean not festival, my first rave, it was here in Sac as well, a very big venue, and it was around Halloween, so everyone was dressing up, and I wasn't that into EDM at the time. Now that I am, I was like, I'm so sad I didn't get to, listen to Excision and Diplo music because I didn't really know them at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first rave. Had my first rave bay, and he actually, I guess I can get into that later.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. How about instead of the first rave, best rave you've been to?
My best rave. I
Yeah.
always okay. I would say Lenham Trilogy. Dude, it was in Vegas, and it was a new stadium, and there was so many people, and he basically played all three sets. So his oldest set, and all like his other ones, and then the new one, and I was very much into his old songs too. So I didn't get to go to Millennium Throwback in 2019. So I went to Trilogy, and I had the time of my life. I was singing my heart out. Um,
Nice.
yeah, I think I would say that was my favorite.
So I guess in regards to EDM, is that like your favorite type of music?
Yeah, I think in the very beginning I was very hard style, like went to Excision, headbang the shit ton. But lately I can still headbang whenever I want, you know. I definitely still headbang, but lately it's been more like Porter Robinson, Madeon, Zed, um, yeah, Illenium, Slander. So those type of music where it's like I don't really like house or techno. I'm into like the soothing, lyrical, happy vibes.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the type of EDM I listen to.
So to kind of put you on the spot, uh, favorite EDM song at the moment and favorite artist. If you only can pick one.
Okay, that's kind of easy. Porter Robinson, he's my favorite, only
Okay.
because um he's a weeb, which is me too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So all his songs are like, especially one of his music video, Shelter, is like based on an anime story. It's such a cute story, also kind of sad, and his songs are kind of anime-ish, so he's definitely my favorite. Um, my favorite song from him, you know, I guess I really like Look at the Sky, which is his newer song.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have to tell you that because I was listening to 8 a.m. for 2 years straight from senior year of high school to freshman year of college, every single day, morning, day, night, 8 a.m. every single day for 2 years, I got tired of it. um, so I stopped listening to EDM and I started listening to kind of sad, depressing music. That's the type of music I listen to now. Happy
Mm-hmm.
ones are cool too, but I am still very much into the EDM I go to at raves. I still know all the lyrics and songs, but not much of the newer ones because I kind of stopped in EDM on the daily. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. No worries. Okay. And in regards to drinking, you mentioned your first time was at that first event. What was your first drink? Like
I don't
ever?
remember.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. I would say my very first time getting drunk was one of the parties I went to in my senior year because that rave, the very first one I went to, my sister just gave me the cup. It was a red Solo cup. I didn't know. I didn't ask. I didn't know. It was very, very little, so I didn't really feel anything. But the very first time I got drunk was when I went to a party in high school. I don't remember what drinks they had, but um, dude, I was a mess in like the beginning, because I didn't really know my limit, and I didn't know how I was gonna act when
Mhm.
I was drinking. I basically cried a lot for some reason. I was very emotional when I was drunk, very, very loud too, and very, you know, what's it called? Like dependent on someone when I was drunk at the time. So it's like very flirty. Yeah.
So that's the type of drunk you would describe yourself as?
Well, that was in the very beginning.
Mhm.
Now, um, now I feel like I'm more chill, but just like outgoing. I think when I'm drunk, I'm very outgoing. I would kind of make jokes here and there, maybe find a guy to pick on.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's the vibe. I don't really cry or get emotional anymore. Oh, actually, I do. I do.
Okay.
I think sorry, I just remembered that this year I went to one of my friend's birthday party. Very, very drunk. It's like the most drunk I've ever been. And I FaceTimed the guy that didn't want me back. And then I cried a lot that night in
Mhm.
front of the dude that was FaceTiming me. And I was like with my best friend too, and she was like, "Bitch, why the fuck are you crying for?" And then yeah. I would say if I wasn't outgoing when I was drunk and I'm in my feels, you'd see me crying.
Favorite and least favorite drink?
Oh, my favorite drink? My least favorite is Henny. Okay? I would say my least favorite first.
Mhm.
Hate Hennessy. Please, like, I told everyone, I had a big birthday party. Told everyone, do not bring any dark alcohol. I would not drink it. Only your friends would drink it. So don't bring any darks. Those are my least favorite. Um, my favorite are all light alcohols. I would say, if we're talking about like, or light hard alcohols, then I would go for Amsterdam. I would buy a big bottle of Amsterdam, New Am, any flavor. Um, I would just drink it by myself. I don't really care. Or I would like bring those to parties because I knew people were going to be dark. So
Mhm.
it's the reason is mostly because I'm such a lightweight with dark alk. I will throw up no matter what. Like 2 shots in dark alk, or especially Henny, I will throw up. Like
Mhm.
disgusting. So light alk, I really love soju for casual drinking, and it's what I drink the most when I be streaming. So soju and New Amsterdam, any light alcohol basically are my favorites.
Got it. All right. Wildest memory from like parties or any events,
Wild, um,
or just memorable.
um, um, I think it was just mostly embarrassing moments. It's like I said in the very beginning, I was like very flirty, or I depended on someone when I was drinking. So when I was drunk, I remember I was like, with texting a guy at the time, I would yell on top of my lungs in front of the whole party, like I miss him.
Mhm.
And I also remember there was this one time where this completely stranger. He's a boy, and we played Jenga. It was truth or dare. They dared us to hold hands for like a minute, and then after he left, I was basically testing him, and I was like, oh my gosh, why did you leave me? It's so embarrassing. Why did you leave me? I wanted a kiss.
Mhm.
I think it was just mostly embarrassing moments. Nothing really wild happened. I don't really have that many wild stories because People have those wild college party life, but because I went to college locally, I feel like I didn't really nothing really crazy happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. We can move on to some of your interests. Let's talk about anime, shows, dramas, movies. What are you into?
Anime. Um, Unless it's like a really popular Netflix show, then I will watch it, like Lucifer and Squid Game, and what was it again? Alice in
Borderland?
Borderland. Um, but mostly anime. I love anime, but I just I haven't watched the super popular ones like Naruto and One Piece. I know the backstory of it,
Mhm.
but because they have like hundreds of episodes, I just
Never caught it.
didn't
Yeah.
feel committed to it. So stuff like Demon Slayer, Tokyo Revengers, Jujutsu Kaisen, you know, the time I got reincarnated as a slime, um, Death Note.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask you for your top 5.
Top five.
Yeah.
um, I would have to say, I'll say Demon Slayer, Tokyo Revengers. Um, Let me think. Hunter x Hunter. Um, I don't know. It's so difficult.
Yeah, it's okay. It's on the spot.
um, Doctor Stone was interesting, and I guess I would say um, there's an anime called Fruit Basket.
Fruit
I think
basket?
that's yeah. It was basically just like a very so I don't spoil anything. It's just these characters are zodiac signs. So one's like a rat, one's a bunny, and one's a cat. And then they all really like this normal girl. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, in regards to shows, how about your top 5 shows, even though you don't watch as many shows compared to anime?
And I would say um um so Alice in Borderland, Squid Game. Um I watched um The Circle. I like watching The Circle, and then the Hot Ones also, and I don't remember I don't remember what other shows.
It's okay.
Okay, those are my top four.
Yeah, yeah. If you had to say which one was better, what would you say between Alice and Squid?
I would say um um that's kind of difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Cause going to Squid Game, I knew that something was wrong. I was like, this is probably going to be another Alice in Borderland type of thing, and I was kind of right. And comparing them to, I think I would say, um, Alice in Borderland because I just like the characters more. I feel like there's more backstory. Um, I just felt like the games were a lot more dangerous and interesting because Squid Game, they just shoot you and die, but in Alice in Borderland, it's like you're put into these different types of situations where you will die. Not by other people who are just pointing a gun at you. It's because you're playing a game. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I
Nice.
mean? Yeah.
Interesting take. Okay. Nice. And then other things you said you like to do is going to the gym and billiards. So how's that for you? Those experiences?
Um, I like gymming. I've done it ever since high school. Um, and in the beginning, I honestly did it just so I can look fit for raves and festivals, because you barely wear any clothes. So, I was trying so hard to get a butt and abs. And I stopped during quarantine, and I just recently started going again because of a guy. I guess I'll get into details later,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to get my mind off of things. I think gymming is a great way to do that, and um, and while getting your mind off of things, you're staying healthy, staying fit, and people actually came to me before and was like, "You're super skinny, you don't have to gym." But my take is like, I'm not gymming to be skinny, I'm gymming to get fit, and I actually want to put on some weight because I know I'm skinny. So I'm trying to, put on some arms
Mm-hmm.
and eating more and stuff like that. With billiards, it's also very, very recent. In the very beginning, I think I went last month, and the first time I did it, well, I kind of played it a bit in high school. I wasn't good at it, so I finally played it again last month. I didn't really like it as much just because I wasn't good at it. I kept missing. I just wasn't putting the ball in. And then at the very end of that day, I realized that I was holding the cue wrong. So it was like the stick. I was holding it wrong, and so when I corrected myself, I was able to pick myself back up, and that was when I became interested in playing billiards. I went a few times with one of my friends who also became interested in billiards, and so I think that's it, really. I'm still super trash at billiards, but I am getting better, I feel like. And my friend, who I usually go with, also realized he had potential in playing, and
Mm-hmm.
so we would just play together, and it's fun.
Nice. Favorite and least favorite workout?
Um, my least favorite is probably arms because I'm a very weak person. I try to like lift these bars up, and I can only do like 15, max 20, and then I'll get super tired. So I just don't really feel that motivated to do it. But my favorite workout, um, I do all the time, is where you work out your glutes, and you take like, for me, I take like a 30-pound bar kind of thing. I put it on top of my waist, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like laying flat down, and then you lower your butt a little bit with the weight on top of you, and then you like raise it back up, and you do a whole bunch of those, and it really works it out. Like, very painful, but you know, you gotta work hard to get what you want. So
Yeah. Nice. Do you need a break before we move on?
um only if you need it, but I feel like I'm okay.
I'm good. All right. We're gonna talk about relationships now. Relationships, heartbreak, all that. So you could do it in chronological order, and you could talk as much as you'd like for your relationships, like how
Okay.
you met, what was it like,
Yeah.
and how it ended, all that.
Okay. I guess I'll start elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like fourth grade. Um, my there was an Asian guy, and I guess he wrote a note to me. Was like, "Do you want to date?" With the check mark yes or check mark no. It was so cute. We were such kids back then. I
Mm-hmm.
checked yes. We were in elementary. We couldn't do anything. Obviously, we would hang out in recess. Um, we never held hands or anything. Um, and I checked Mark yes, obviously, so we were together. And he actually moved away. So after fourth grade, when as soon as school ended. That's when our relationship ended because he moved away to a whole nother state. So I remember crying when I walked back home because my elementary is like really close to my house, so I would walk home. And it was so cute because like we didn't do anything since we were so young. The last thing he gave me was one hug, and it was a very awkward hug, but he seemed pretty proud of it. And he gave me like an Angry Bird type of plushie, and that was our goodbye. I walked home hugging that Angry Bird, crying because he moved away. So that was it. Middle school was, I kind of mentioned it briefly before. The most popular guy in school, also Asian, and like I said, it was 8 months of not doing anything because I wasn't ready for it. I guess I was still in the young mindset. I was still very wholesome, so um, we didn't share a kiss at all, just like holding hands, hugging, and walking together to classes, stuff like that. Um, I forgot why we ended, to be honest. I think I ended it with him when I stopped having feelings for him. And I think ever since then, both of us have been single for a while. And um, he found a girlfriend. He was like very happy about it. And that was only in high school. So that's how that ended and started.
How
I don't
is
remember.
how is he the like most popular guy, and how did that happen? Like, were you guys linked up?
Oh, okay. So he was the most popular guy because in middle school there was only one person running for president for the entire school. Cause like in high school, it's like every class freshman year, like the freshman would run for president to be a freshman, and a sophomore there will be a sophomore president, a junior president. In middle school, there was only one president, so you run for president and then vice president, and he was basically the president of the school. So he had the power to do everything. So that's why he was the most popular because the whole school, the whole middle school had to vote for him to become the president of the entire school. So that was why I said he was the most popular guy. And how he met me, I think I was dating the vice president before we went to middle school. So basically, I didn't tell you, but I went to the middle school camp right before we went into actual middle school. So there was a camp there. I did basketball camp. I was very trash at basketball, but I met a guy there, and he was the vice president. When we got into middle school, we broke it off before we basically broke it off after summer because I was crying a lot. I don't remember for what reason, but he basically said like, I'm gonna break it off because I've been making you cry and you'll be happier without me. And so the vice president and the president were actually became best friends. They were super close to each other. There was like really no hard feelings when I dated the president when my ex was a vice president. I think I mostly met him from my ex of the vice president because they were best friends first, and then I was still hanging out with the whole group because, like I said, I was in a whole Asian group in middle school. We were all in that group, including the vice and the president, and so the two boys became best friends first, and then I guess I dated him after he met me from my ex. Yeah. That was middle school.
Yeah, so 3 so far from elementary and middle school.
High school. I was single all throughout high school. Because my school was a very, like I said, very smart school, so kind of like nerdy people, and very small as well. So everyone knew each other, and I just wasn't attracted to anyone at all in my class. So or not even in high school. I actually had a huge crush on a freshman when I was a junior, and I actually got a lot of criticism for that because, it's shit like, ew, why are you like having feelings for a freshman? Like he's a freshman,
Mm-hmm.
In high school, it's like those standards where the higher upperclassmen are better than the lower classmen. So I had a crush on a freshman. The thing was, he had a girlfriend, and I basically felt like his girlfriend, um, it might just be me, but a lot of people had problems with his girlfriend. They didn't really like her because um, she was basically bossy and um, no, didn't really let him talk to girls. Didn't really let him go out like that. She was that type of girlfriend who would restrict the guy just because they were dating, from seeing other girls. And so basically, I became like super close to him, like best friends. I developed a crush on him, but obviously I didn't tell him because he had a girlfriend. But she basically was like suspicious of everyone. Like, she was like, cut her off right now or we're gonna break up because I think she likes you. So he did cut me off, and he also had another best friend who has been there for him all throughout childhood. And the girlfriend actually did the same thing, told him like, I have kind of like a problem with your best friend, and she was just the type of girl who wanted him to cut all the girls in his life even if there were no feelings attached. So that was what happened. She was kind of crazy too because, like I mentioned, I was in a dance club in high school. He would make her friends join the dance club to spy on us because he also joined the dance club as well. And I was just like, damn, like, why are you going, why are you doing all this? If you were so insecure and didn't trust like your boyfriend or shit like that, to have someone spy on me when when we're practicing dancing. So that was that in high school. I think senior year was when I, like I said, I didn't really like the people. I wasn't attracted to anyone in my school. So I went to other schools to meet new people. And um, there was a guy that was dancing at his school. And I would go over there to practice dancing sometimes, at his high school, and he developed feelings for me. He invited me to homecoming. I think I was driving at the time. I think that was the very first time I shared a kiss with anyone. He was my first kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was because I just felt like I wanted to go out and have fun that I shared a kiss with him like that. Not exactly where I have feelings for him. I thought that I could like him, but in reality, I felt like I was just going out to have fun, and being with him was part of it. I felt like I didn't really have feelings for him, so I broke it off. Just said, we should break up. He, gave, he said nothing. He just said okay, and that was it.
This
I
was
was
like
like,
a short thing.
yeah, it was pretty short,
Mm-hmm.
like a few weeks. Yeah. So I said, let's break up. He said okay. That was the end of it. So there was another guy in Oakland, and that was after the summer after high school, I think. Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe it was spring semester or in the spring of senior year. Um, so the Diplo and Excision, the Rave I told you about,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
it was him. Um, we after the rave, basically, we continued talking, texting, and stuff like that. And we were doing everything that relationship people, like people in a relationship, do. We would say "I love you" to each other, "I miss you," FaceTime each other every night, and because he was in Oakland, we would take turns going to each other. Um, I was driving, but actually, I don't think I was driving anymore. So we basically took turns riding the bus to each other's places. Um, and that went on for like 4 months. And basically, he invited me to prom. And so I said yes. And exactly a week after prom, he broke it off with me. So I tell the story all the time. He's known as a prom guy because he's the guy that broke up with me 1 week after prom. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was because he just wanted a date for the prom. And on prom day, he was acting normal. And then for some reason, like after that, um, the texts were just more dry. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of knew it was coming. He broke it off. And actually, like, we did a lot of things together. We went hiking. Um, we like went to Old Sac, which is a place people go for tourists, and we watched movies together. But we were never official. Actually, he never asked me out, so I guess we were never official. But I would call him my ex because we still did everything that a couple did for 4 months. And so honestly, I think he was just a fuck boy. He was a year younger than me. He was immature, and he just broke up with me after prom.
Mm-hmm.
So that's him. And then, um, going into college, right before college, I think like a month before or something, um, is my ex of 3 years. Um, I okay. The story of how I met him was like pretty long. Because basically, when I was raving with my sister, and we had these two other girls with us who would always rave together. And so basically, I went with her alone one time at a rave, and she basically, I basically saw him line up in security across from me, and I told her like, "Hey, I think that guy's cute," and she's like, "Really? You think so?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think he's cute," and that's actually my ex. Um, and turns out that she matched with him on Tinder. I didn't know that. She didn't even tell me. So like, I was like saying all this shit about how um he's like so cute, blah blah, but she didn't even think so. But it was during the rave at the very end when she was like, "Do you actually think he's cute?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And so she went to him, became his rave bae for the rest of the night. And I felt like it was because of my opinion that she started feeling like maybe he is cute, but she never really liked him to begin with. She kind of just went along with my opinion. She trusted my opinion, not really going off of hers. And so because of that, um, she went to him, I guess, and um, they dated for like a few months,
Oh.
and it ended
Mm.
because at the end she never really had feelings for him. It was based on my influence, and it was one time where she went to his place. Right afterwards, she texted a group chat with me and my sister in it, and she was like, "I kind of want to break it off with him, but I don't want to because I don't want to make it seem like I'm just here for dick, basically, which is exactly what she did. And it is kind of fucked up now that I think back at it. But definitely not friends with her anymore. Um, I think how we met was I had his Snapchat. So we went to another rave together. When they were together, they broke it off. A few months later, he had a Snapchat, and I basically replied to his story. And from then on, we started talking all the way until 3 in the morning, the whole weekend, and we just stayed up talking to each other ever since my first text message to him. So that's how we developed feelings for each other. And he came to my birthday party, my 18th birthday party, and I think from there we decided to date because he actually thought I was like pretty young because I was 17. He was 2 years older than me. He was like 20 or something, and he wanted to wait till I was 18 so that we could get together. And that was that. We dated for 3 years straight. He actually went to UOP, so it was a 45-minute drive. He would drive up and down from Stockton to Sac every weekend for me, and I actually lived with him for the entire quarantine. Um, how it ended, basically, he is from Korea. So every male in Korea are forced to go to military if they want to keep their Korean citizenship. And his family actually lives in Korea. He just came to California to study abroad because he wanted to become a dentist as well, which was what got me interested in him in the first place because we were both striving to become a dentist. And so, um, um, I just lost my train of thought. Where was I going in?
You said that he was driving and like up and down on the weekends. He's from Korea, citizenship.
Oh, yeah. So his family's from Korea. His parents his parents are pretty well off. His dad has an ortho clinic there. His mom has a cafe there. Basically, in order to keep his Korean citizenship, he had to go to military, and that was very recent. He left June this year, or I guess May. He left May this year because that's when he completely finished with school, um, and the contract for the house he was living in ended, so he went straight to Korea. It was like a month later that I broke it off with him because told him that I started streaming this year too. So basically, I was like already pretty busy, and um or time when we lived together, it was like, obviously in every relationship is like very sweet in the beginning, so like all lovey-dovey, you're in that stage where you just, go on hella trips and show each other so much love for each other. Then once you get comfortable, you stop doing all of those things. And there was one moment where I texted my best friends and I said, "We're living together, but it feels like he's just a roommate. Like we weren't talking to each other when we were in the same room. You know, we I just started streaming and gaming, so I would go on my laptop as soon as I wake up. He would go on his computer as soon as he wakes up. We were just on two different sides, and the only time we would come together was when we were eating. Basically, we weren't really hanging out anymore, and because it was quarantine, we couldn't go out either. We weren't doing anything at home. I felt like he wasn't really giving me that much attention, so I found myself seeking attention from other people, from other guys. And that was when um going back to this year, um I knew that I had to break it off when we FaceTimed each other, and he said I love you, And at that moment, I said, I love you back. And I felt like I didn't really mean it. I felt like the feeling of saying I love you to him wasn't the same as I felt before in the very beginning. Like, for some reason, it just felt wrong. It didn't feel like, you know, I love him the same as I did before. It just didn't feel like I should be saying that. So that's when I told him that I think I'm losing feelings. And I think that was it, really. He was already in Korea at the time. And I actually had a lot of support from my family and friends that, like, we're gonna work out, it's okay. But being in the military, it's, 2 years. So, um, being long distance away from each other for that long, I thought I could do it. I thought he would be the person that I would be marrying, but he wasn't. So, I guess I just couldn't do the long distance. I guess I just lost feelings. And we already kind of had a problem in our relationship already where he wasn't giving me the attention that I wanted. We weren't talking that much anyway. So I felt like as soon as he left, that was when, um, you know, I felt like everything was missing because it's like, um, I felt like our connection was already missing, but because he's physically there, I felt like I could deal with it. Once he stopped being physically there and the connection wasn't rebuilding, I felt like I just lost everything. And so, yeah. I think that was everything.
So since then, you're just doing your own thing?
Yeah, yeah. I've just been busy streaming and doing stuff ever since. Um, I think because he met me before I got into college, I didn't get to have a whole phase. So I feel like every person is interested in having one whole phase in their life. You know, that's that I feel like that's probably how I felt. I don't know if I lost feelings because he wasn't there anymore or because I wanted to venture out and find other people or just being independent and alone is better for me. Maybe it is all of that, but I just felt more free when I wasn't with him anymore. I was able to go out every single day and yeah, just going to a lot of festivals, meeting new guys, and right now it's like kind of dry. I'm not really talking to anyone anymore, but I don't regret anything. Basically, I felt like it was the right decision to break it off because I did feel a lot happier, by myself because I think as soon as he left to Korea, I was already going out a lot and he didn't like it because I wasn't able to give him as much attention. Um, basically, I couldn't really talk to him as much. So he was in Korea and it's like a big time zone as well. And so I would come home after hanging out and I just would send him one text like, "Hey, I'm sorry," and "Good night." And it went like that for like a month. I couldn't really give him my time and attention because I wanted to go out and have fun. So that's why I broke it off. And that's where I am now.
Mm-hmm. Wow, so I'm sure that one's the longest one. You must have felt a lot after that one, the heartbreak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's actually one more guy.
Yeah, you could continue.
I want to say that um although my ex of 3 years, it was a long time. for some reason, I didn't really feel as sad when we broke up. I met another guy when I went to Hard Summer Festival, and he broke my heart. It was very recent. It was 1 week after my birthday, which was literally last month. And basically, we met at Hard Summer, and we actually met before that. So basically, one of my sister's best friend had like a birthday thing at a bar, and we celebrate his birthday. I met him there. I was cracking jokes with him, and after that, I just never really thought about him like that because the day before the bar, he was actually dancing at another club with my sister, the one that's a year older than me, and he was interested in my sister in the very beginning. So I was like, okay, this is a guy that like I would never go for because siblings. Like, it's just weird. Like, you went for my sister, why would I go for you? So obviously it didn't work out because my sister, like, he's not really my sister's type, but he was my type, and so I think he DM'd me on Instagram because he knew I was going to Hard Summer. We went together, and I was from day one. Right after the festival, he came back to our Airbnb there was like 20 other people in that Airbnb, and I actually laughed out at him. I yelled at him, and I was crying a lot that night because um he basically I just basically didn't trust him. I was very heartbroken before. I dealt with so many things with other guys, and I told him that like I don't trust you. You're like every other guy I probably met, and I was crying a lot, and he just kept saying sorry, um, and I was just like, yelling at him like, no, I don't trust you. You're like every other guy. And he said that he will wait for me. He's like, it's fine. I understand. You went through a lot. I'll wait for you. And so I was like, okay, fine. I basically had my walls up. Like, I was very closed off um, because I just didn't want to get hurt anymore. And so he tried talking to me for like a whole month. Okay, so he tried talking to me for a whole month into convincing me to trust him. He basically made all of this effort to say that he won't like do the same thing that other guys have been doing to me. He said like all this bullshit.
Do you want to take a break?
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Don't feel like you need to rush saying this. Just take your time. Like you could like go off camera if you want to. Just take your time.
Hey.
Hey, welcome back.
I'm back.
Wait. We good? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So do you still want to talk about it because we can move on?
Yeah, I'll just finish it real quick.
Okay, it's up to you.
Okay. I want to say sorry to everyone. Right after he cut me off, long story short, he basically did what I was so afraid of. In the very beginning, I told him straight up, I'm so scared of getting hurt, getting ghosted, and like all of this other shit like that. I told him everything. He understood like what I was going through. He understood, and he said that he would be there for me. He will wait until I'm ready. And as soon as I develop some feelings for him, he basically just cut me off. And we did a lot of things together. It was a very short time. It was only a month of talking to each other, but I developed strong feelings for him. And at the very end, he basically cut me off. And he basically did what, I literally told him, like, you were like all the other guys. He kept saying he wasn't. And turns out he did the same exact thing that other guys have been, doing in my experience. And I think after that, for like a whole week, I cried. I cried myself to sleep. I cried when I woke up. And I was just very depressed. And that was only last month, you know. And so I've been trying to move on. I am becoming happier, and I basically think that him cutting me off was the better thing to do, because I was crying already when we were texting because he wanted to break it off. I basically begged him not to. I basically said, please don't leave me, don't leave me alone, I will do anything. And he just didn't want it. So he started becoming very dry on text. He he went to university in Riverside, and long distance, I already knew. I already took into factor of how the long distance gonna work. He's from SoCal, I'm in NorCal. I told him that in the very beginning, day one when we just started talking, I was like, "What about the distance? You're literally moving this fall." And he was saying shit like, "Why are you letting this distance stop us?" He was just saying all these things like, "It will work out." So, I believed him. I, gave my heart to him. It was a very short moment, but I guess he couldn't do it. As soon as he moved, and he started going to fraternity parties, and that was when I realized that his texts were becoming so dry, like one word text. And it was just, he was just not the same person, because he was super nice to me. He was like so into me. He was ready to call me his girl. And all of a sudden everything changed. And so, because I kept thinking about that, I was like already crying. I was like, he's not the same person. you know it's like pretty much over, because he didn't really feel the same anymore all of a sudden, you know. So I think after he cut me off, I was like crying for a whole week. That's the reason why I took up gymming, and that's the reason why I started becoming interested in billiards also, because I want to get my mind off of things. And I was also insecure, about my body. I was like, I'm way too skinny, and I just wanted to work out, and um, started becoming happier, I guess, when he cut me off, because I wasn't constantly reminded of him and the times that we spent together while texting him. Because that was what was going through my mind every single day. I was like, I think it's a lot more sad when you have feelings for someone who, I just think it takes a lot more, is a lot more sad when you never became official, rather than breaking it off with someone when you were in a relationship with them. And that's because you constantly think about, it could have been like this. You start making up all these fantasies in your head, like, you know, if we were together, this could have been happened, this and that. We could have been doing this, like, it just could have been like that, but it never happened. So I think that's why it's a lot more sad to think about it, because you just make up these fantasies in your head, like this would have happened if we were together, but it never did. And it's like, compared to my 3-year relationship with my ex, I wasn't that sad over it, because we already did everything together. We experienced a lot together. So it's like I already got a lot out of that relationship. But I felt like with this new one, there could have been a lot of things, a lot of fun we could have had, but it never worked out. So, long story short, he just cut me off. I tried really hard to pick myself back up. And actually, TJ, I met TJ. That's when I met TJ. He's actually one of the person that, led me to where I am now. I've become a lot happier. He was always there for me. He knew I was heartbroken. He was there when I was crying. And I have another best friend, a guy best friend as well. The one that I usually play billiards with. Um, that's the guy that was also there for me. So, I'm just so glad I have like close friends with me to help me move on. And, I definitely felt like I was becoming happier. I wasn't really thinking about him as much anymore. But I guess because, I touched back on the story of us that it made me emotional again. But that was it really about that. I was I was falling into depression. I wasn't really focused on classes. I'm right now I'm like kind of behind in them. I just didn't feel motivated to do anything. And I tried going out every day to get my mind off things until I tested for COVID, came positive, and that was just last week. And I'm at the end of it now. But I was texting my friends. I was like, you know, going out is my only way of coping. I don't know, like, I don't want to be home. I don't want to stay at home. I'm very depressed at home. It's like, you're just in your room. You have so much to think about. And so I was just like, I cried the day that, it came out positive because I was trying to move on by going out, but because I have to quarantine, stuck at home.
Mhm.
But I think this whole process kind of gave me time to just focus on myself, focus more on classes, playing games and streaming as well. And I'm still trying hard to, become better and with classes and everything. So
Yeah. All right. So that's the relationships
mhm.
and heartbreak talk. So to finish that off, what relationship advice would you give to people? And also advice in regards to mental health, since you went through a dark time.
Um, I would say, um, it's like even though you experienced something traumatizing in the past, maybe you got cheated on or something like that, I want to tell you guys that, you know, um, you have to move on at one point because if you keep thinking about it, you know, a guy or like a person who cheated on you 3 years ago and you're still thinking about it, like I think it's really time to venture out because if you keep thinking about or being afraid of, those things that will happen to you, you will never find another person that will bring you happiness ever again because obviously like your mindset of like this person is gonna cheat on me, blah blah, blah, probably gonna do a bunch of things that happened to me in the past, and it's gonna hinder on your relationship. And I think you just have to. It just takes time. Everything takes time to just move on. Basically, it is definitely okay. Like I am now, I'm very closed off again. Um, just obviously don't trust everyone from the bat. Maybe take a few months to talk to them. I don't really believe in relationships that work out off from the bat one day, one date, and then you get into a relationship. I think it just takes time, and you know, I think the main point is just like letting yourself move on so that you can find someone better and not believe that everyone is as bad as like past people that treated you in your past. experiences, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did that make sense? Like,
Yeah, you're good. No worries.
okay. And about mental health, again, everything takes time. You know, talk to your friends, your family. How I coped with it was just um I just went out every day, you know, keep your mind busy from stuff because um you know, as soon as you're home and you're alone and you're not doing anything, you're not playing games, you're not talking to friends, texting, you know, as soon as you're just alone sitting there, there's so much to think about. There's so much time. It's just like if you give yourself so much time to think about things, you're always going to be sad in that mindset. I just feel like, you know, with mental health, just keep yourself busy and talk to the people that you love to, you know, bring your happiness back up.
Very nice. So now let's
Also, remember to stay healthy, eat well, stay hydrated.
squeeze that in. Yes. Let's talk about your current goals and aspirations in life.
Current goals and okay, well, like I said, I'm trying to become a dentist. I just really want to graduate school. College is just so difficult, but I'm just hoping that after college, that I'm not sure what path I'm taking yet. I'm either going to find a job right away or go to dental school. I don't know what path I want to go to yet, and I'm kind of worried about my future because I feel like I don't have experiences in dentistry yet. Once you're in college, you have to start looking for places to intern. I haven't done that yet. My sister, so my eldest sister, she like interned at like a hospital, a nurse place for like 3 years, and she graduated from college. So a lot of places want her to to work for them. The sister a year above me, um, she didn't do all of that in college. So she graduated and she didn't find a lot of job opportunities. And I am afraid that I'm gonna be like that. um, but I think just for now, I really want to get back on track with classes. But at the same time, I want to grow my Twitch stream as well. I worked really hard on it in the very beginning. I would stream more than 6 hours every time, and sometimes I still do. But I think it was there was a time where I wasn't really focused on classes yet. Instead, I was like worrying about streaming a lot more, and so I think for my goals to, I guess, balance time from streaming and classes and focus on that. And I think starting next year, I'm gonna slow down. I'm going to Raves and Festivals because, like I said, I'm still going to an event every month this fall. But I think as soon as New Year hits, I want to focus on just graduating and focus on continuing to grow my Twitch stream. I think that's it. I think that's like basically my goal.
Got it. Wait, say that one more time. The exact profession that you want, like the title that you want.
Dental hygienist.
Okay. So it's because my friend Michelle in chat, she's a registered dental hygienist in your area.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's crazy.
Maybe we can talk.
Exactly.
I want to know your experience. Is it horrible?
She literally just said your body will hate you.
I know, I know. I actually searched it up. I made some research,
Hmm.
and it says like being a dental hygienist, you're gonna crouch down a lot, or not crouch, but you're gonna like
Hunch
what's it
over
called?
or what?
Hunch over a lot, and then you just become really sore and shit like that.
Hmm. All right. Let's talk about travel and adventure plans. I know you're going to like events and stuff, but what else do you plan on doing in the future, travel wise?
Um, my group and I actually um decided to go to South Korea in the spring of next year. So spring break, I think. We're going to South Korea together. It'll be my first time besides Vietnam going to a whole nother country, and I'm excited for it. I don't know how it's gonna be
Hmm.
being in a totally different environment and a different language. But other than that, I've only been to Hawaii this year, and I plan on traveling a lot more. Maybe Japan. Japan's really cool, but also very expensive. And maybe New York as well. And my friends actually came back from Seattle, and um, it seems like they had fun.
Hmm.
So yeah, I definitely
Nice.
want to travel more.
Okay, let's talk about social media right before we get into Twitch. So currently, what social media platforms do you use, and just talk a little bit about it.
Um, I use mostly Instagram. And I used to do TikTok, but I ended that. And that's about it. I'm not really big on socials and Instagram either. It's like I started Instagram like in middle school or something. I was very into it, and I was glad that I made it because I actually made friends and connections through Instagram by posting pictures and commenting on other people's pictures. Now I'm not really into it that much just because I feel very lazy. Obviously, Instagram people, are so picture perfect, and um there's a lot of girls out there who are so fucking pretty. I'm just like, damn, I want to be like them. And, it's just like, for Instagram, I feel like I just want everything to be perfect. So I get lazy and I don't post anything. Because when I have pictures, I'm like, I gotta edit them, I gotta do all these things, I gotta think of a caption, and that's just a lot of work for me. But I
Hmm.
am still posting some pictures of my events and stuff. With TikTok, I made it actually only because of Twitch. When I started Twitch streaming, I wanted to grow on every platform. So I used every social platform I could find to post my Twitch stuff. I guess posts that I'm streaming. And I made TikTok for that sole reason. I wanted to grow on TikTok. I know that TikTok is an easier platform to grow. And from there, you can probably, some people are doing really good in Twitch just from their TikTok followers. Um, thing is, um, with other social platforms relating to Twitch, it's really hard to transfer followers from one social platform to another. If you're super famous on Instagram and TikTok, um, it's just really hard to make people from other platforms go on your Twitch because it's so different. Instagrams are just literally photos. TikTok are just like 10-second videos, and streaming is like hours and hours of people watching you just playing games and stuff. So yeah, I stopped TikTok just because I got lazy as well. Um, yep.
Yeah, interesting videos.
Video,
TikTok.
uh, um, like interesting TikTok videos I have.
No,
Or are you saying
I'm
is
saying,
interesting?
yeah, it's interesting.
Did you look at it?
Yeah,
Oh, all right.
but
What's
okay,
what's
but
interesting about
you don't
it?
do anything anymore. Got it. Huh?
Yeah, what's interesting about it?
No, it's just like you're going for like the comedy approach, and I see it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So I on TikTok, you see all these pretty girls dancing and doing all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really that type of person. I feel like I can't really dance, and so I go for the acting, the comedy, the skits, and yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Twitch. So let's talk about how you found out about Twitch and got into streaming.
Okay, so it was during quarantine. Everyone's fucking bored. And basically, I was getting into my very first game. So, Valorant. I was never a gamer like growing up. I only played Halo when I was like, 10 or something for like a short time. But that was it. I was never a gamer, high school and college. I was just doing my own thing, YouTube, Netflix. And I actually have two friends. They're also girls, and I saw them streaming, and they barely just started as well. One of them started like in the end of 2020, and I think I didn't really think much about it until I finally played my first FPS game, which was Valorant, and my other friend who I hang out with all the time, she was also thinking of streaming. So I streamed one day after her first stream, and I was like, if these girls can do it, I can do it too. So that's why I started streaming. Like, if I'm playing a game already, I might as well just stream it. The thing is, I didn't have anything to stream with. I have no webcam, I had no PC, no mic, no headset, nothing basically. I just had a laptop that I bought, a gaming laptop. It was MSI laptop, and I bought a mouse for it, a mouse pad, and that was all I had. And so I went on Google basically. I was like, can I turn my iPhone into a webcam? So I used this app. I downloaded it. I tried to connect it to OBS, and it worked. I was like, okay, cool. I didn't really think much about it. I was like, if this works on webcam, I can start streaming. So that's what I did basically. I was like, cool. I was able to connect my phone from OBS, started streaming my first day. I had like 10 friends there. They were all supporting me. It was very bad because at the time, you know, my family Wi-Fi was really slow, super slow. But I was still streaming every single day so that I can get affiliate within a week. So that's what I did. Even though internet was so shitty, Valorant was so laggy, even the webcam, my stream in general was just so scuffed. Um, but there were still people supporting me, so I was like, shit, why not? So when I was living with my ex, they had better Wi-Fi, so I started streaming there, and I basically set my laptop on like one of the bed desk food tray thing. So here, I'll show you. Okay. That was my table. I set my table on that.
Mm-hmm.
And that went on top of my bed.
Dang.
So so that's all I had really. Then I bought a ring light, and that ring light I could attach my phone into it, so it would go in front right here,
Mm-hmm.
and then everything would go on top of my bed. So whenever I would play games, obviously the bed is shaky, so whenever I played games, the camera would shake also. It was just so scuffed. It was crazy. I like made a whole TikTok about it, and it blew up. It was basically like my old setup, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I stream on my bed, crisscrossed for 6 hours straight, even more than that, sometimes 12 hours. I even did a 24-hour stream on my bed, just crisscrossed, laptop in front of me, you know, phone as a webcam, and
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
that's when I started. So yeah.
Talk about your favorite memory or stream that you've had so far.
Um, my favorite memory of streaming, I would say, it's my 24-hour stream. I think, because you're streaming for that long, there was a lot of people who come and go. I met a lot of new friends, people who rated me, and even people supporting me at the very end. I remember at the very end of my 24-hour stream, I did the full thing, didn't sleep through it, and at the very end, everyone congratulated me. Everyone was like, "Woo, Tian, you did it!" I think I did a subathon as well, so I got a lot of supports, um a couple like gifted subs and stuff like that. So I think that was my favorite memory. I had a lot of fun during my 24 hour, but during my time of streaming, I think I was also very proud of this moment where I was building my community. And I think my goal is to basically um, build up my community big enough to the point where even when I'm not streaming, my viewers will talk to each other and they will play games with each other and stuff like that. So there was one like month where my viewers were asking other viewers to play games with them, and then they would go on my Discord. They made a voice channel. They play games together, and I think that was the moment where I felt the happiest, like the most proud, because even when even without me, they can still have fun among themselves, and the viewership is like connecting with each other, and that's all I really want for my Twitch stream, really. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Do you have any plans for your 1K?
I am hitting 1K soon. I don't have any plans besides, since it's Halloween, I have a toga cosplay from My Hero Academia. I did one cosplay before, it was Nezuko, and I still haven't done my toga cosplay yet, and I was planning to do it so long ago. I never did it, so I was gonna cosplay as her, and then put, as a celebration from 1K, on the stream as well. So that's what I was gonna do, when it gets closer to Halloween.
Nice. Okay, have you dealt with any trolls or hate? And if so,
Oh yeah.
how did you respond?
Oh yeah. Okay, so at the very beginning when I just started streaming, there were these racist group of men who came onto my stream. At the time I was very new and I didn't really have any mods, and I was also like, I didn't have that much experience yet, and so they were like being really racist. I was um replying back to them, giving them what they want. I was like pretty upset at them. I yelled at them on like on my stream, and I was like, "Hey, you can't be saying that, blah blah blah." I didn't ban them or anything because, um, when you just started streaming, you want all the viewers to be there with you, and you're afraid of banning and timing out people, because like, what if it's gonna scare people away, And that's how I felt in the very beginning. I didn't really have experience, and so I kept them around. They subbed to me, and they basically was like taking advantage of that. They were basically like, "Hey, since I sub to you, you're not gonna block me, are you? Shit like that. It's like, you're not gonna block like your supporter, your subscriber, blah blah blah." And so I kept them around until later on. I had to, um, ban them or turn them out. Or I think it was a day when I like yelled at them. That's when they stopped coming back. So yeah, they were being really racist, making racist jokes. They thought it was funny, and that was the only rule I have on my stream, really, because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
my stream is very chill. It's like, if you talk about sexual stuff, I don't really care. If you like say something sexually, I don't really care. It's just the only rule I have on my stream is to not be racist, not be rude, you know? Like if you're intended to, get a reaction out of it, like a bad one, then,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it was just like a few racist people. After that, you know, I've been streaming for a couple of months now, and the way I deal with it with trolls, I just time them out. If they come back after the timeout and do it again, then I ban them. And you know, after the timeouts, that's when they usually leave the stream, and so that's how I deal with it now.
Nice. Who are some of your day ones that are still around that you'd like to shout out? And have you met anyone through Twitch yet? Or from Twitch?
Oh, I met a
IRL.
lot of people from Twitch. Um,
Like IRL?
yeah. When I started streaming, okay, so the second girl that inspired me to stream, so there's two girls. The second one, I actually met her. We actually became closer because of stream, and now we're best friends. And um, I'll put her name, or I'll DM you her name. She doesn't stream as much anymore, but she does here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So I became best friends with her, and we're still hanging out a lot. And she's the person I go to raves with the most, and going clubbing, and it's all because of streaming. From there, I met a lot of streamers who are now my friends. I think when I just started streaming, I was so focused on it. I wasn't talking to anyone in my life anymore. It was everyone who I was talking to were literally streamers, gamers, or just people on Discord hitting me up. Um, and so I think, yeah, her name is Pikachu on Twitch. And I think she's the only one really from IRL that streamed with me day one. And she's the
Nice.
one that streamed like a day before me, and then so yeah.
Alright. So, what advice would you give to people who are trying to start on Twitch and trying to grow?
Definitely don't give up. I know this is what I did in the very beginning. You look at the viewer count and you go, oh, it's only like one or two. Please don't feel discouraged by that. It will definitely grow. It just takes time. Streaming takes a lot of time and commitment. So if you are committed to streaming, you will see your viewers grow. It just takes time. I'm even surprised that I was able to grow to like 600 followers with just a freaking laptop. You definitely don't need all the expensive things to stream. If you stream and you really love doing it, you can make anything happen. Like, based on my experience, honestly, like I didn't have anything and I was able to grow with the stuff I had. And just please, like, ignore the viewer count. They don't matter. What matters is doing what you love. It will definitely grow with time, and you definitely need a personality to do that, because when you're just like streaming, playing games, doing your own thing, and you're not talking, obviously your viewers don't really know much about you. They don't know your personality, and they're just watching you play the game. Basically, you have to communicate with your viewers. So I think a big thing is communicating with them, showing that you have a really fun personality, a welcoming personality. And so that's when you can you know start raising your viewership. If you're just sitting there playing games, not really talking, not really doing anything, then you won't see much progress. So that's my advice.
Nice. Alright, last questions for Twitch. How'd you come up with your username, and how has the platform changed you as a person?
I came up with my username Howuduyen. It was actually a pun that dated back all the way from middle school. A lot of people were using that pun in middle school. It became a huge joke, and my name Duyen. Um, it's just a lot of people come to me and tell me that same joke. So I back then I kind of was like, oh, whatever, it's like an old joke. It's like, nothing special. Like, you can laugh about it, like, haha, but it's like not really funny anymore. And that was my mindset back then. And then I think I just started to, um, I guess, become open-minded about the name. I was like, hey, maybe this is really funny and this is really clever. So it became my Instagram name at first. I changed it to my Instagram name. A lot of people liked it, so that's the name I use for everything. And that's how like I got my Twitch name, and a lot of people actually come in my chat just for my name. They're like, "Hey, that's pretty clever," and I was like, "Thank you." So yeah, it was like a joke back then, and I made it into a permanent joke now.
Sick. Nice, nice. All right. It is 10. We are going to finish up with the random questions. You're still streaming after it.
Mhm.
Let's go. Okay. What are some of your biggest pet peeves?
Pet peeves. Shit. I hate it when people tell me what to do. Like, wash the dishes or do this, do that, or playing Valorant. Hey, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you planning? Blah, blah, blah. I just hate when people tell me what to do. It's like, let me do my own thing. Maybe I'll play better that way. It's like, at least like say it nicely. It's like those people who like boss around without really saying it nicely. That's the
Yeah.
people I hate the most.
Greatest fear.
Greatest fear? Shit, getting my heart broken again.
Yeah, that's deep.
I don't really know what else. I hate horror movies. Like, they scare me so much, but I still watch them, and I actually play some horror games too. I hate it, but people like it, so yeah.
Nate the Bear asks, "What's your favorite food?"
Favorite food? See, I'm like a really indecisive person. I love all food. I'm not really picky. I think if I were to choose, I'd probably say Korean, but I can't name my favorite dish because I don't have one. I like all food.
What would you say is the best trait or skill that you have or about yourself?
That I type 150 words per minute.
All right. Okay. I was thinking of that. I was wondering.
I think that's the only skill I have, really.
What would you consider as your greatest accomplishment in life so far and greatest failure slash regret?
Hmm. Greatest accomplishment. I want to say my greatest accomplishment is my Twitch stream. It's like, wow, I didn't know I would be able to grow this much this fast. And I'm really happy and proud of it. And I'm going to continue doing it because I really love it. So I think that's my greatest accomplishment. What was the other one?
Greatest failure or regret?
Greatest failure or regret? Mm, um, my greatest regret was not applying for a university. I think that's like it did bring me to the friends I have now, but I feel like I would go a lot greater in life if I had better education because dentistry and like going to the profession that you really wants you to go to a good college. I feel like my college isn't as great or it's not like a big university. So I think my biggest regret is to not apply for a university and not believing in myself.
All right, last 3 questions. What was your first impression of me?
First impression, well, it was very short because I had to raise someone.
Yeah.
So as soon as I went onto your stream, I think it was just your vibe. I went on your stream. I was like, I'll rate this guy, because if my friends already knew him, he must be a great person. So, I think knowing more about you, I think you're just like a super chill person, fun to talk to. I feel like you give that vibe where it's like, I can tell you anything and you won't give a fuck, which is why I told so much about my life in this interview.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, just very chill personality.
Okay. Name the top 5 streamers that you find yourself watching.
Top 5 streamers. Ethos.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pro Valorant player, or not pro anymore. I don't know if he ever went pro, but I think that's the first main one. I don't really look at famous or popular streamers like that, because I focus on supporting smaller streamers. So I think the second person would probably be my good friend um Kirua Kev. His name is Kev.
Mm-hmm.
Here. Um he is a VTuber, and he actually I support him a lot because he's not even from my state, and he's a VTuber, but he's doing so good in Twitch and stream that he actually brings his followers to me, and he raised me sometimes, and he actually helped me grow a bit, and I helped him grow. So I think that's the second person. Um let's see. I want to say my friend Jessica. She's from the Bay, and I met her because I think I rated her one time, and rated her a few times, and she's doing better now as well in terms of Twitch streaming. She gets average 30 or something, and she would raid me a couple times, and um, I appreciate her for that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Another. I think. I guess I would say TJ. He streams a little bit. I love watching him. I love his personality. I will
Uh-huh.
always support him. He's just my best friend. So I guess I would say him. And my friend Pikachu, the one that I streamed with, started um day one of streaming with her, started playing games with her. So I will always support her, even though she doesn't stream that much anymore. But yeah,
Yeah.
those 5.
Awesome. All right, and for the final question. So, using the connections that you have, who would you like to see as a future guest on this podcast and why?
PJ. I think he would be interesting to be in the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
because we only recently became best friends. I don't know that much about him yet. I just know his heartbreaks, and he actually will most likely serenade the interview. On the interview, he sings amazing, plays the guitar.
Uh-huh.
I love him. um and maybe um in Discord, her name is Banana Mel. She's the girl that I mentioned in the very beginning when I saw her stream in the end of 2020. I think she has an interesting background and life, and I want to know more about her because I don't. We like hang out like a few times, but you know, she is probably almost been a year since she's been streaming now, and I think she would be a cool streamer to interview.
Nice. All right. So that is it. That's it for the podcast. We did it. It's we're
Yay.
clocking out at 3 hours and 3 minutes. How are you feeling now that it's over with?
Feels good. Feels like, I don't know. I just felt like I used this time to rant about all my stuff. And it feels amazing, you know, to let everything out there. Honestly, I never really told people about my life before, and now that everything is out, people know what I'm going through now. So feels really good, like a weight lifted off my shoulders.
Is this what you expected?
No.
Interesting. What did you expect?
Honestly, I was like, I only looked at like the first few minutes of your previous interviews or podcasts or something. I was like, dang, he's going into the personal life. I literally texted TJ. I was like, do I want my personal life out there? Like, holy fucking shit. And I kind of already knew I was gonna be talking about stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, I actually enjoyed it, which
Good.
is surprising. I thought it was just gonna be a boring interview. You know, not gonna lie. I didn't think...
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, but
No, you're keeping it real.
It came out really good, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I really liked being here. So thank you for inviting me.
Love to hear it. All right, let me close this out for the YouTube portion, and then I'll let you go. All right. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. This is the Chang Gang Podcast, episode 24, featuring Howuduyen. Thank you, Duyen, for being here. Appreciate the time and for like just having you let everything out. So seriously, thank you. And lastly, guys, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Duyen, you could close this off with last words.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here. Wilson is an amazing guy. Subscribe to him already. You know, follow him on Twitch. Love this dude. Bye, guys.